I'm Deborah.
And I'm Kimberly.
And this week's video is all about the tools that we used to co-author our book. Alright, so the first thing we started with was Google Docs. And Google Docs was really great for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, it was great because it had a chat feature built into it.
Sometimes I think we wrote more in the chat box than we did actually on the page.
Yeah, sometimes it would just be, the book is open and we're talking about unrelated matters.
Work.
Yeah.
Or something else. So I don't even know if that was so much of a big, good thing. It was good because we were able to kind of talk on the side of the book, but we also did a lot more talking than writing, so I don't know.
That's true.
Do you feel like...
I think we even enacted a rule where we were like, okay, let's stop talking. No talking.
That's true.
We have to work.
Almost you felt like you had to.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome. You had to say hi.
Welcome to the document.
Yes.
Be rude.
But Google Docs was really good because, well, one, it's free, so there's really no reason that you couldn't use it, and that it does work really well for two people to write at the same time.
Yeah, there's live editing, so I could just watch her type, super weird to watch someone else type, but I could.
Yeah, it really is just sitting there watching words appear as it goes, and their cursor's just sitting there.
Being tempted to edit as they write.
Yes.
There was one instance where she wrote a word, and I instantly came back.
And deleted it.
And she said, I knew it was wrong, and you still
I hadn't even finished the sentence. You know, sometimes when you want to just finish writing a sentence and then you're going to go back, but before I could even finish the sentence, she had changed the word that had an error on it.
So that's another thing about co-authoring. Setting boundaries.
You cannot touch this paragraph.
You can't touch this paragraph until I'm done with this paragraph.
Although I think we got to the point where we did set a rule that you get to finish the chapter before the other person comes in and starts editing the chapter.
Yeah.
Which I think worked really well, but it was so tempting at first that if you saw an error, go ahead and fix it.
Well, it was the first time that I'd ever watched someone else write. So it was, it was tempting. But, so Google Docs has some drawbacks, so especially if you're working in a huge book. We had some slowdown issues, there was a lot of lag in it, and using the search feature, finding a word in the document, became pretty impossible.
It would glitch and freeze and do a lot of those things. It didn't do it until our book started getting bigger, and we thought that it was the size of the book, but I think Kim later learned that that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, we think it has more to do with the history. When you're in Google Docs, it's constantly storing versions as you make changes. And so that really slowed it down. Yeah,
and I think it probably was saving even more versions than a normal document would because we were co-authoring. Both of us were in and out of the document all the time, and so it was creating version upon version upon version. So now, it wasn't until after we abandoned Google Docs that we really realized that that was probably what was happening. And so if you want to use Google Docs, especially to co-author your book, the best advice that we can give you is just to periodically copy all of your content and paste it over into a new document that has no history on it so that you can kind of clear out all of that history.
So some ways that people have handled these slowdown issues would be to divide it up into different chapters. But we didn't want to do that because we wanted to be able to read what we had written, to get details, and to be able to kind of monitor what the other person's doing too.
Yeah, and I think we were also a little obsessed with it looking like a book.
Yeah.
We didn't like
rough draft.
We didn't like it to look like all the chapters were separated out, and we did want to be able to just kind of pop up and down through the chapters at will without having to go out and in and out and in.
So creating the new document can help, and then also going into incognito mode in Google Chrome is supposed to help by eliminating some of the add-ons that are causing lag in your document.
Yeah, so we can highly recommend Google Docs. But of course, because of the lags that we were experiencing, we realized that we were going to have to try to do something else, and that's when we decided to move to Microsoft Word on SharePoint.
Yes, so we may have mentioned that we work together. So the president of our company was gracious enough to let us host it on our company SharePoint.
Yeah. And so we put it there. We both had easy access to it. Word just does a really good job of allowing you to co-author, both of you be in the document at the same time. It does not have the chat built in on the document the way Google Docs does. It does have Skype for Business that syncs up with it, but we never used that.
Well, dozens of social media platforms had us covered
Yes.
in that regard.
Exactly.
We could chat anytime.
And of course, SharePoint is great at versioning. And it saves instantly, so you don't have to worry about accidentally losing anything. It was just a really
Live editing also, I mean, it can do that as well. And then, and it locks down the paragraph that you're in, doesn't it? Like, can you make changes in the same paragraph that someone else is in?
I think a lot of times it'll tell you that there's conflicts if you're both in the same paragraph. So, but we had already kind of instituted the rule that we don't edit on top of each other.
Yeah.
So we didn't have that problem. But you can see the cursor of your co-author while you're authoring, so you can kind of see where they are. And it's just really, really easy, and we didn't have any problems with it. It's got two modes. When you first log in, you can either see edits instantaneously, or you can ask it to let you save it every time you want to get it.
Okay.
So, and then if you do that mode, then whenever you save, all of the things that your co-author has changed turn green. Anyway, I never really used that mode much.
Must have turned that off because I remember it being green at the beginning and then never again.
Yeah.
So
that's, you have a couple of options there. And then of course, as far as formatting, you just have so many more options than you do in Google Docs. You can put in images so much easier than Google Docs. You can do much more interesting formatting changes.
No slowdowns at all. We didn't experience anything like that.
That was a good one. And then also you can put an add-on. I think a lot of people who write really like Grammarly. Grammarly is an application or feature that you can subscribe to, and you can add it on to a lot of things like your email or websites in general, and it will help you find errors in your content and what you're writing. But you can also add it on to Microsoft Word, and then you get like an extra oomph. Google Docs didn't, or at least when we were trying it, it didn't. I think it said it was a feature they were working on, but you couldn't add it on to Google Docs. You had to export your content into Word. And I made the mistake of thinking that I could just copy and paste into Grammarly one of our chapters, and it deletes all of your
italics.
Yeah, all of your formatting. So we liked italics. We like to use italics when we're having thought, like our characters are having thoughts and things like that. And you just lost all of it. So you can't do that. So unless you have no special formatting, you can't just take your content out of Google Docs and put it into Grammarly's application. You have to use it as an add-on in Word.
So another really great service that we used was Asana, which we used for work. And so we had seen a lot of the capabilities of it, and it allowed us to design a work plan for how we were going to write the book and our due dates and everything. So.
Yeah, if you've ever used Asana, it's a project management tool. You can have different columns that you can label in different ways, and then you can move your stuff through those columns that you can name it whatever you want to. You can put due dates on it. You can put an assigned to on it, and it'll remind you when things are due.
Yeah, you can have tasks and subtasks.
And you can put it on your phone and a mobile app.
Yeah. And we assigned it, and there's like a team calendar. It's a really cool website.
It is. It's really a neat application, and it allowed us to stay on schedule and to really push ourselves to make sure that we got things done when we wanted to get them done.
Yes, and if you miss a due date, it will bug you to death.
Yeah. It'll turn red and like menacing. And not only did we use it for our writing plan, we've used it for all of the parts of the publishing experience. So we have a marketing plan, let's see, what else?
Editing.
An editing cycle phase where we talk about everything that we're going to do, and all of it just like fit into a master schedule. It was just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
And so I've written a lot before, and I'm going to run all of my stories on it.
Yeah. It's exciting. Well, and definitely the sequel to Waypoint will be
absolutely
on it as well. All right. Well, if you have any questions about any of the tools that we've talked about, just let us know in the comments below.
All right, bye.